There's a kind of silence that doesn't feel peaceful. The kind that sits between two people who used to talk, and now don't know how. For a few days after their fight, that's where Ha-eun and Joon live. They're still working together, technically. Emails get answered. Files get reviewed. Deadline after deadline is met. But the jokes disappear. The late-night brainstorming sessions vanish. The rooftop might as well not exist. On the platform dashboard, the numbers don't crash. They just soften. Views slide a little. New readers trickle in slower. The gentle hill tilts downward. The trial period continues ticking away at the top of the screen, like a timer everyone can see but no one wants to talk about. The platform finally breaks the silence. In a meeting room with glass walls and two bright lights, a small group gathers. Senior editor, marketing, data analyst, Joon. On the screen at the front of the room, two charts sit side by side. One is Minji's new series, already climbing, buoyed by promotion and brand recognition. The other is Ha-eun's, steady, honest, but flat. Here's the situation, the data analyst says. Retention is strong on this one. People who read it tend to finish the chapter. Comments are positive. But growth is weak. It's not pulling in fresh readers. The senior editor folds his hands. For a trial slot, we need momentum, he says. If there's no upward trend, we have to reconsider continuing it. He looks at Joon. Talk to your creator, he says. See what she's willing to do. In her apartment, under the same familiar lamp, Ha-eun sits alone with her laptop. She already knows something is wrong. She can feel it. She can guess what kind of conversation is coming. When an email from the platform pings into her inbox, she doesn't even open it yet. Instead, she opens a new draft. Not a script. Not notes. An email. To content team. Subject, regarding my series. Slowly, she types, "Thank you very much for the opportunity to serialize my story. After giving it a lot of thought, I've realized I feel that I may not be the right fit for the direction the platform needs. Rather than force changes that might damage the story, I think it may be best to withdraw." Her finger hovers over the trackpad. If she sends this now, she doesn't have to wait for the platform's judgment. She gets to walk away on her own terms. But underneath that, there's another fear. If I leave now, what was all of this for? She doesn't hit send. Not yet. Back at the office, the air feels different around Joon. He's alone in another meeting with his boss. It's an official assignment proposal. For Minji's new series, the boss says, "We want you as her lead editor. As for the rookie you're handling now, you've done what you can. If she can't adapt, we can't justify keeping her on the schedule at the expense of more profitable projects." The words aren't cruel. They're logical. You can't save everyone, Joon. The boss continues. Sometimes you have to decide where your efforts matter most. He pushes the document toward him. Think about it, but don't take too long. On his desk later, two windows sit open. 1. The offer for Minji. 2. The trial stats for Ha-eun's series. His cursor hovers between them. He thinks of years of playing it safe and still carrying old regrets. But mixed into all those memories is something else. A rooftop in the early morning. A girl who said she'd try one more episode. For the me who used to write in the office restroom so no one would see. He closes his eyes. Then, without giving himself more time to overthink it, he clicks. A notification appears on the content team's internal system. Author considering withdrawal. Review series status. Joon sees it. He doesn't need to know the exact words to guess who wrote it. Within minutes, he's grabbing his coat and leaving his desk. By the time he reaches Ha-eun's building, his breath is slightly uneven. He stands in front of her door, hesitates for half a second, then knocks. No answer. He knocks again. Relentless. Familiar. Finally, she gets up and opens the door. "Did you run here?" she asks, confused. "Elevators are slow," he says. "And you type fast." "You saw it," she says. "I saw something in the system," he replies. That was enough. Joon doesn't waste time. "They gave us two options," he says. Rework the story into something trendier, or keep it as is and accept the risk of being cut. You wrote a withdrawal email, he says. I thought I'd save you the trouble, she says softly. If I quit before they cancel me, at least you don't have to be the one standing next to the failure. Is that what you think this is? He asks. That you're a burden I'm trying to get rid of? Aren't I? She shoots back, voice shaking. Your boss is offering you Minji's series. You could work with someone proven. Instead, you're stuck babysitting a trial project that isn't growing fast enough. I'm not stuck, he says. I chose this. You chose this because you had no other option. Now you do. He meets her eyes. I had an option, he says quietly, and I turned it down. What? She asks, genuinely thrown. They offered me Minji's series, he says. I said no. Why would you do that? She asks, almost angry. That's your career, your chance to climb, and you wasted it on me? It's not on you, he replies. It's on this story, on my decision. He steps closer. I spent years making the smart choice, playing it safe, following the formulas, trying to avoid another disaster. And all it left me with was work I don't remember and projects I don't care about. He nods toward her laptop. This one I'll remember, whether it becomes a hit or dies as a trial. Because at least this time, I'm choosing it with my eyes open. A little later, the familiar rooftop door creaks open. They stand by the railing, side by side. I don't want to turn my story into something I don't recognize, Ha-eun says quietly. I don't want that either, Joon replies. I also don't want to drag you down with me, she adds. You're not dragging me anywhere, he says. I walked here. I'm scared, she admits, of failing, of being cut. I know, he says. Me too. Different details, same fear. So what do we do? She asks. We don't pretend we're above the numbers. We do what we can to give the series a chance. Cleaner hooks, better flow, smart adjustments. Then his voice softens. But we don't erase the heart of it just to chase a ranking. Why? She asks. Because, he says, and his gaze doesn't waver now. This isn't just another project to me anymore. Her breath catches. You're not just a creator I happen to be assigned, he continues. And this isn't just a line on my resume. Somewhere between that first awful pitch meeting and now, it became something else. You asked me if I was doing this for my career or for the story, he says. The truth is, I'm doing it for both. But I wouldn't risk my career for a story or a person I didn't believe in. Editor Nim, she says, voice barely above the wind. You know this sounds dangerously like an indirect confession, right? He breathes out a small laugh. If it were a direct one, he says, you'd run. She pretends to think. Maybe, she replies, they're staying. With the story, with the risk, with each other. Months pass. The series doesn't explode. It doesn't crash either. It finds its own speed, slow, steady growth. The trial label disappears from the dashboard one day, replaced by something simple. Status. Ongoing. In her inbox, a message arrives from a reader. I don't know if this series will ever get super popular, but I just wanted to say, your story about quitting and not knowing what comes next helped me feel a little less stupid about my own choices. So thank you. She forwards the email to Joon with no extra text. A minute later, a reply returns. This is better than a front-page banner. One evening, they leave the office together. No one comments anymore when they walk side by side. On the rumors have moved on to other people, other stories. On the street, they talk about the next arc of the story. Painful comedy, Joon says. On brand for you. For us, she corrects. He doesn't argue. At a crosswalk, the signal flashes red. They stop. So, she says, if someday you regret not taking Minji's project, you can still go back and, I won't, he cuts in gently. Confident, aren't you? He looks ahead at the lights. For once, he says, yeah. The light turns green. They step forward together. Later that night, the rooftop is empty again. The city hums below. I used to think my life would start when everything finally went right. she says. On the screen, we see flashes. A girl hunched over a tablet in a cramped apartment. A harsh editor saying, "You have 24 hours. Coffee cans on a railing." A live series page with a small but glowing comment section. Two silhouettes on a rooftop, shoulders almost touching. It turns out, her voice continues, my life started the night everything almost fell apart, and I chose to keep going anyway. The wind blows across the empty rooftop. The city lights flicker, restless and alive.